Okay, in this lesson, we're going to talk about list views, various types of list views, whether it's a Kanban, tile, split, standard list views. How would you use them? How do you configure them? What are some different use cases where you can use them to segment data or organize your data and look for trends and patterns? Ways that you can troubleshoot them if you don't see the data that you're looking for, and all the different ins and outs of list views. So stay tuned. You're going to be using this very often as a Salesforce admin. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started talking about list views. We're going to look at a lot of the different features on the screen here. What you can see right off the bat is I'm in my Trailhead playground like usual, and I'm looking at the Contacts tab, which is similar to the Accounts and Opportunities tab. If you were to click on either of these, you would be able to go into other list views for other types of records. And essentially, when you go to the main page, you're going to land on a recently viewed. Because I haven't looked at any contacts lately, there's nothing on here, but it could populate if I were to go look at some contacts. Let's take a look. Let's drop this down and see what it looks like. What are my choices here? That's right. All contacts, birthdays, my contacts, meaning the ones that are assigned to me, new last week, this week, recently viewed, and recently viewed as a pinned list. If I wanted to save a list in particular, I could pin it or unpin it. Apparently this one's not working. So let's do birthdays and see if I can pin it. There you go. See? I pinned birthdays this month. If I wanted to unpin it, I would have to actually go and pin a different one. And that would specifically isolate just one list. So that's pretty cool. When you go to all contacts, you can look and see some basic data. 20 items, just a normal filter. I can see everything sorted by name. I can sort by anything. You can get really custom. I'm going to drop this out of here because sometimes Salesforce throws those at you when you're in the middle of a work day. And let's start talking about some of the buttons on the screen as well. If I wanted to create a new contact, I can hit this button. And now I have a screen that pops up and I can actually build a new contact right off the bat. That's pretty cool. I can import some contacts. This is going to take me even further away from the list view. This is going to get a little crazy. Now I'm in the data import wizard. Well, I don't really need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my community events app. Here we are. I'm going to go back to my contacts. But as you can see, if you really needed to and didn't have anybody there to help you, you could go ahead and import some contacts in there if you learn how to use Data Import Wizard, which is also a big section of the test we're going to have to talk about in a different video. Add to campaign. I can take a contact and add to campaign, but guess what? I don't have any records selected, so nothing's going to add to a campaign unless I can select it. Let's see what happens if I select one. Go with Andy, add to campaign. I don't have any campaigns. This is for marketing purposes and tracking campaign influence, return on investment, things like that. So if I had a campaign going and I want to specifically add a bunch of different contacts to it so that we can reach out to them, that would be my strategy. There are other ways to go about that, and there are faster ways, and there's ways to do it in bulk. But if you're just doing 1 and 2 at a time, this would be really effective. Speaking of bulk, sending a list email, I have a story for that. So when I was a Salesforce administrator, there was a guy, and kind of a contractor, outbound marketing, community events type of role. And he specifically was sending list emails in bulk, as many as he could per day, just to try to generate some leads and make sales. But our company had a policy where we were only allowed to send through Pardot, which was the Salesforce marketing tool that we were using specifically to reach out to clients and large amounts of customers and potential customers. And so I had to remove his permission from send list email. I had to email him. I had to talk it through with his leadership. And I felt bad because I thought this guy is working hard. He's trying to reach out. He's trying to make some sales. But there's a policy because we had to control Salesforce Pardot. We had to send the emails only through their email campaigns and manage that effectively so that we didn't break a lot of rules in the system and Salesforce and the marketing team's rules and all this stuff. So anyways, send list email. You want to send a huge list of people an email, that's all you got to do. Let's click on it and see what happens. As you can see, I can actually write the email, make a subject, copy and paste it in there, and send it off. Printable view. I think I actually used this one time. This is kind of rare, but I used this one time to give somebody a printable view. They wanted to see it, they wanted to look at it, so I thought that was pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. Search bar, I don't have to say much about that. I'm going to come back to this. This will be our biggest section of the list views. I can change actual displays of how I see this from a table display. Let's say like lead source. I can do Kanban settings, which allows me to like see as contacts progress or change categories or change titles. This is especially effective when you're using opportunities because you're moving through a sales process. But this is an interesting way to use this if you need that type of visualization. Split view allows you to, let's open this up and see what happens. I have to double click it and then it'll pop up. And you can see Mr. Andy Young. And I can look on the left side and I can kind of work through my list and get the info. This is effective for people, especially if they're just trying to go through a list, knock off some activities, send them some messages, make some notes, make some phone calls, set some calendar events, whatever they're trying to do. They can go down the list rapidly, and that's one of the values of the split view. Okay, I want to go back though. Let's go back because this is traditional view here. If I want to edit the list, select it. Let's see. I can update all of these items if I want to change these items in particular. Oh, what is happening here? I can edit directly in the line. Let's just say like Salesforce. I can change the account name. I can change all the account names. I'm a little afraid to do that. So I'm not going to do it. If I hit apply, it'll change all the names. So, all right. See, sometimes you got to be cautious when you're messing around in Salesforce because you never know what you might change and then you have to go back and change it. So just giving you a heads up on that one. If I want to show charts, this is something kind of rare. I don't see people do this very often. In Salesforce, you can see like what's the breakdown of lead percentage. You can see them by lead source, and you could even do like different types of charts. So that's pretty cool. And then filters. Filters is where it gets really tricky. People start adding a bunch of filters, and then all of a sudden you're like, why is it not showing up? Why is something not showing up? Well, go and check the filters. Rule number 1: check the filters. If I want only active accounts, I would take account active because these are contacts. They're connected to an account. And I can do yes. Account is active equals true or yes. And then hit save. And you can create logic. And you can have multiple variations of filters. You can put like locations where the contact is from. Like Kansas, like mailing state. As you can see, when I put active, there's 17 active. That means there's 3 inactive in here somewhere. Well, how do I know which one's inactive? I don't see anything on the screen here that's going to tell me that without clicking into each one. Well, guess what? Let's go here. List view controls is where you control the list view itself. I can build a whole new list view. I can duplicate this one and then modify it a little bit. I can rename. I can adjust sharing settings, who can see it, privacy, that's critical. I can adjust the list filters, which you already saw right here. I can click that, it just opens it back up. Let's see, I'm gonna remove that and go back to the 20 because I want to see the inactives. I can do fields to display. All right, so this is where you get your chance to build it out the way you want it, the way people need to see it. Don't add in anything extra. Don't add anything that like people aren't going to use and it's just extra information on the screen. It's not useful. I don't need contact owner alias. I probably need all of these. And you know what else? Maybe I need the city of the, let's see. I got the full name. Maybe I can get their city in here somewhere. There it is, mailing city. And I can adjust this, put it in the right order. So you can add a variety of items on here, and eventually it might reach a limit where you can't fit all the columns in here. It just looks bad. There's too much information on the screen. And you can work around that by building a report, and a report would actually be your next level if you wanted to just do something with more information quickly accessible and more functionality in the reporting tool inside of Salesforce. But as you can see, I got my accounts here. Is it active or not? And I can see who's inactive. These are the no's. 1, 2, 3. Those are the 3 no's. And in fact, they don't say no, so maybe they're just no. Maybe there's no actual answer. Maybe it's just null. Maybe it's just empty. A blank answer there. But either way, they're not yes. So we're going to assume they're inactive. They don't even have full information in here, as you can see. So with all that being said, this is your list view. You want to create a new list view? This is not the button. This creates a new contact. That would trick you up, especially if you haven't done this before. You would actually go here and click new. I want to create one that's contacts, all active contacts. This auto populates, only I can see it. It's not my contacts. I want to see every contact. And then I want to see, like we did before, active accounts actually. So I would probably have to go back and rename that just to be more precise with my naming conventions. Let's go back. Let's rename it. All active, all contacts with active accounts. How about that? That would be a lot smarter. Makes a lot more sense when somebody reads this and they're like, oh, okay. Active accounts, cool. So anyways, this is your list view. Take a look at it. Super simple. Let's look at opportunities real quick. I mean, you could go into the pipeline. You could see a lot of what's going on. I don't even have any opportunities going on in here. I don't even know. I got like 3. Oh, well, there you go. 31. You can see dollar amounts. You can see a lot of interesting facts here that are going to help you. So let's keep moving forward. In the next video, we'll talk about global actions and how they're related to all these things that we've talked about so far.